Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. This video or this screencast, I'm going to do a run through of the MyMathLab site where all the course content is located. And where we're at right now, this is called the course homepage. And over here on the left is where everything you're going to need will be located. First thing, when you log on, you might not see everything that is shown here on the left side. And that's because I'm the facilitator of the course. So I have some stuff showing up that would currently be hidden from you. Don't worry about it. You will be able to see course home, announcements, course information, read e-text, online quizzes, tools for success, multimedia library, gradebook, and test one preparation. And I'm going to go through each one of those things because that's where all the action is for the course. First off, I'm going to come into the course information. So let me click on that. And there are some documents here that, well, I'd like you to print out some of these documents. What I want you to print out would be documents that would be distributed the first day of a traditional class. So those documents that are here that I'd like you to print out and have a hard copy of are the course syllabus, the academic calendar, the online orientation, the protocol for sending email, and the list of homework to practice exercises. Those are the 5 documents that I'd like you to print out, click on and print out and have a hard copy of. And I'm going to go through each of them, some more in depth than others. First off, with the course syllabus, there's something really important indicated that you will find in the syllabus. So here it is. I'm going to click on the syllabus. And let's see, in the syllabus, important stuff. First, my name. Hey, if you need to get a hold of me, this is the email address to use. This is my email address. Use this email address for all class correspondence. See the prerequisite. You're here, so you have the MyMathLab access code. Should have a graphing calculator. See the grading structure. Your grade's going to be determined on a total of 600 points. And these points are going to come from tests, the online quizzes, and a final exam. That's it. Homework doesn't count. I mean, you'll do the homework so you can do well on the quizzes and then in turn do well on the tests. But the 600 points are going to come from tests, online quizzes, and the final exam. See, test. You're going to have 3 tests that are going to be worth 120 points each during this session. And, you know, according to the math department policy at Lakeland, all tests must be proctored. And most of you will be doing that in the testing center at Lakeland, which is located in A1044E. Tests can be taken any day the testing center is open, up to and including the deadline dates that will be shown on the academic calendar. And we'll go over the academic calendar here in a moment. But I've also listed the deadline dates down here in this table. So you can see test 1 has a deadline of Monday, June 25th. So you can take test 1 any day up to and including the deadline date. And then you see over here on the right side of the table the sections that will be covered on test 1. The same for test 2, test 3, and the final exam. So please note, this is the first time you're seeing deadline dates for tests, and it will be mentioned several other times. When you show up to take a test at the test center, these are some notes that you should be aware of. You have to have a photo ID. You should have a pencil and your graphing calculator. If you don't have an ID, a Lakeland ID card, or a driver's license, they won't be able to give you the test. For my tests, there will be no notes, no books, no formula cards, no cheat sheets allowed. Deadline dates, you You've seen it on the prior page, but it'll also be in the academic calendar. I will also mention any deadline dates and weekly announcements. Please be aware that no test will be started 30 minutes prior to the test center closing. And these are the hours, the days and hours of the test center when they're open. Folks, for my tests, there's no time limit. So, if you need 3 hours to take the test, you have 3 hours to take the test. There's no time limit. So keep that in mind. But if you show up on a Monday at 8:45 p.m. and the test center closes at 9 p.m. on Monday, they won't let you start the test. I would hope you would plan on more than 15 minutes to take a test. Testing policies, I'll let you read through these testing policies on your own. They're pretty straightforward. Next component for your overall grade that you will earn is the online quizzes. You're going to have 12 online quizzes, and these are completed online here at the MyMathLab site. And we'll go over those in a minute. They're in the online quiz area. So 12 quizzes, they're worth 10 points each. So that's 120 points possible for the online quizzes. Each online quiz will have a deadline that will be shown on the academic calendar. The section coverage for each quiz will be shown on the academic calendar. When you start an online quiz, you must complete it in one session. And you will be able to take an online quiz, and each online quiz up to 3 times maximum. So, say you take online quiz 1, the first time you take it, you score a 6 out of 10. Take it again. You take it again, you get a 10 out of 10. Great. But you can take each quiz up to 3 times maximum. So here are the online quizzes. This table shows you for each online quiz the corresponding deadline and the sections covered on each quiz. And then the third and final component that will comprise the final grade you earn is the final exam, and it's a 120-point final exam. And the deadline to complete the final exam will be on the academic calendar, and it was in the very first table here in the syllabus as well. So to go over it one more time, 600 points possible in the class. You're going to have 3 tests worth 120 points each. So that's 360 points total in tests. 12 quizzes at 10 points each. So that's 120 points in quizzes. And the final exam's 120 points. Add those all up, you get 600 points possible. This is the grading scale that I use to determine the final grade that you earn. And when I assign the course grades, the final grade you earn, you can read through this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Academic misconduct, hopefully that's not an issue. Some general course tips. Okay, again, the homework to practice exercises are not collected. Tests and final exams will have problems much like those you see in the homework to practice exercises. So doing the section by section homework to practice exercises is probably the single most vital element for your success in the course. Folks, keep up with the assigned sections and the homework to practice exercises. Don't let it build up. Keep up with it, especially in an 8-week class. This is an 8-week class that moves twice as fast as a regular semester class. So keep up with it. Do stuff every day. You have questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email at the email address that I've indicated. Before sending an email, please read the protocol for sending email. We'll go over that here in a minute. It's one of the documents that's in the course information area. And keep in mind this is a self-directed course. You have to keep up with the work. So if you don't have the time, especially with it being a fast-paced course, it's only 8 weeks long, or the proficiency or the inclination to do the material in a self-motivated style, You might be better off in a traditional in-class course. Hey, in learning the course material, and I've been doing this for, this online class, I don't know, about 10 years now. I've kind of come up with a four-step cycle of learning. And to go through the four-step cycle of learning quickly here, I would suggest, you start each section, you log into the MyMathLab site, and you start a section. You start a section by, reading the e-text for the assigned section. And while you're reading the e-text, you will see in the e-text there are links to videos and animations that have been done by the author of the book. His name's Kirk Trigstead. And watching these animations and videos, can help you with the practice exercises and the homework. Also, when you're reading through a section of the e-text, after some examples, you'll come across these practice problems. They're called You Try It. The You Try It will direct you to exercises at the end of the section for you to practice at that time. And those practice problems generally match up with the concepts that were just presented in the prior example. Again, none of this, these You Try It exercises, the homework to practice exercises, none of those count directly for a grade, but they're going to prepare you for the online quizzes and also prepare you for the tests, two items which will comprise, the final grade you earn. Once you make it entirely through a section, do the practice exercises I've suggested at the end of each section. Again, they don't count for a grade, but they're going to reinforce the ideas and concepts that you've just seen in the section. And that in turn prepares you for the quizzes and the tests. Once you've completed all the sections for an assigned quiz, then head off to the online quiz area, do the quiz. The quizzes do count for a grade. And remember, you can take each quiz a maximum of 3 times. And then the final item I have here is that for most sections, not all sections, but for most sections, I've made a YouTube video highlighting key concepts from a section and doing some extra examples of the key concepts, ideas in that section. Now, I don't think my videos replace reading the e-text and watching the videos embedded in the e-text. I kind of view them as being just another supplement. In the weekly announcement area, I will be providing a link on a section-by-section basis to these videos. And acknowledgement of the syllabus. Again, something really important here. I don't know how else to highlight this. But this is the syllabus, so make sure you print out and have a hard copy of the syllabus. So let me close that. Okay, the next item we'll look at in the course information area is the academic calendar. So let me click on that. And again, print out a copy of this academic calendar. You should have a hard copy on hand. So for the academic calendar, I just have it broken down into, week by week. And all I have listed on the academic calendar will be important deadlines. So Friday, June 15th is the deadline to complete quiz 1. You have to complete it by 11:55 p.m. So you see deadline here for quiz 2 and then quiz 3. Deadline to complete test 1, Monday, June 25th. So the academic calendar will show all deadlines. Now, this is the second time you've seen deadlines for tests and quizzes. The first time, deadlines for tests and quizzes were, you would have seen it in the syllabus that we just went over. Make sure that you notice the deadline for the final exam right here is Saturday, August 4th. And I also have at the very end of the academic calendar, again, the quizzes and what sections are covered on each quiz. I also have listed the tests and the sections covered on each of the tests. This is the second time that you've seen this. This information was also in the syllabus. But make sure you print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar on hand. Next up is the online orientation. So let me open that, click on it, and have a hard copy of this on hand. The first thing I mention is, hey, here are some documents to have on hand. So I mention, items that you should print out and have a hard copy of. So please do that. Keeping up to date. Up-to-date class information I'm going to post weekly in the announcements area of the My Math Lab class site. In these weekly announcements, you will see reminders of weekly section coverage, homework listings, reminders of due dates, maybe course tips, and I'll notify you when test preparation tabs are available. And I generally will post the weekly announcement sometime on Sunday morning. So I'll post the weekly announcement on a Sunday morning for the subsequent week. Some ways to get help. Again, let me mention the primary way is send me an email. It's my email address. You can also come by the Math in Minutes table or in the Tutor Center at Lakeland. You can get a tutor at Lakeland. You can have a personal appointment with a tutor, and it's at no cost. They're good folks down there. I would suggest using their services. For the tests, another comment about the tests, you have 3 tests and a final exam. You take them at the LCC testing center. No makeups. Tests have to be proctored. This is stuff we've already gone over and stuff we've gone over here about the online quizzes. So that's just like a brief orientation. It's a brief summary, if you will, of items we've already seen. So let me close out the online orientation. Next in the list is the protocol for sending email. So let me click on that. Print this out and have a hard copy on hand. These are some tips I've come up with on how to use email effectively. And really, these tips can be applied to any course, not just my online class, but any class, whether it's an online class or a traditional class. One more time, this is my email address. Use it. If you don't use this email address, I won't get the email. Please use your Lakeland email account. Several reasons why, but I do have a lot of students. So if I receive an email from, say, an address that says sleekdime@gmail.com, I don't really know that's a Lakeland student by just seeing that email address. And I might gloss over it in my inbox because I receive a lot of email. When I see something from a Lakeland email address, I don't gloss over it. Try to identify yourself at the beginning so that I'll be dialed in. So if you just kind of start off by stating your name and that you're a student in my Math 1650 College Algebra online course, I'd greatly appreciate that. Allow time for a reply. Folks, I will reply to email each day. You will receive a response, the latest within 24 hours. Generally speaking, I check email several times a day. So if you send me some email and I reply within an hour, that's not unusual. But if you do send me an email late at night or on a weekend, you might not get an immediate response, say within an hour or 2 or 3, but you'd get one the next day at the latest. You will get a response within 24 hours. Be cognizant of your writing tone. Use complete words and sentences. It's email, not text messaging. So let's try to use complete sentences. And do your best to state your question clearly and completely. That way we can figure out what's going on. And tips for entering email, math in email. Everyone does it differently, and I generally haven't had a problem with that. But that's your protocol for sending email. Next up, you should, let me click on the list of homework to practice exercises. Print out and have a hard copy of this. This is like the traditional end of section homework. So for example, section 1.9, I'm saying the homework will start on eText screen 1.9-16, and then I list the problems you should do. You should know how to do. Here, section 4.5, I tell you on what screen in the eText they begin and what problems to do. So print out and have a copy of that. And the final document here that I didn't say to print out and have a copy of on hand is the answers. This is like a traditional book. In a traditional book, there's the back of the book where all the answers to the homework problems are. Well, this is kind of like the equivalent of that. And it's a 40-page document. So I wouldn't print this out. What I would do is if I were a student and I'm, reading through the e-text and I'm doing homework, what I would do is I would open up this tab and I would just have this open as a tab for when I'm doing the homework to practice exercises. That way, if I'm doing the homework in section 1.9, I have this tab open. Here are the answers to the 1.9 exercises. So I just leave this tab open. And then I could always click over to it and check my answers. So, course information. Print out and have a copy of the course syllabus. Have a hard copy on hand. Important information. Print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar, the online orientation, the protocol for sending email, and the homework to practice exercises. So that's everything in your course information tab. Next up, let's look at the announcements tab. And again, I already have some announcements made. I have a placeholder for them. You won't see these yet, but here's one that you will see right now: the week 1 announcements. So let's click on that. So again, let me come back to the main menu. This is your home page. You can always click on announcements and see the weekly announcements. So the week 1 announcements, I start off with a brief welcome and a brief reminder of the 5 items that you need to print out and have a hard copy on hand. And again, make a special announcement here on the course syllabus. Generally speaking, for the weekly announcements, you'll see it start off, week 1 announcements, and then my definition of what a week is. And then I say I've created a preview video for some of the sections. I mentioned this, in my cycle of learning. So for the 4 sections that start off listed here, it looks like I have some videos made. So if we just kind of, take a look at one of them. Oh, wait, let me go back. I'm sorry. I would right click and I would open the link in a new tab. And, let me pause this real quick. I strongly recommend making sure that you watch my videos in HD. And, right here, I would probably go full screen. So I go full screen and...
Hey folks, we're going to look at how to solve some polynomial inequalities and rational inequalities. And
all right, so that's me. And I'm just going to work through some examples. And that's me at my chalkboard, just to give you another take on the information. So here are the links to the videos. As I mentioned, I would supply them. Here's a reminder that these are the 4 sections that will be on online quiz 1. I say do do the following e-text practice exercises. So here it is for each section. I've listed, again, the exercises to do and what e-text screen they begin on. So this was in another document that I asked you to print out, but it doesn't hurt to mention it again. A reminder on due dates. Online quiz 1. Deadline is Friday, June 15th. You can take it up to 3 times. And then after you do online quiz 1, you have to start to prepare for online quiz 2. It's a fast-paced course in the summertime. And so to get ready for online quiz 2, it's like, okay, here's another video for 2.4, section 2.4. Do these problems in section 2.4. And that's what a typical weekly announcement will look like. So let me go back to the main menu. So again, every Sunday morning, I will make a new announcement in the weekly announcements area. Next up, let's do the online quizzes. Let's check out that tab. And you see here are the online quizzes. All 12 of them are in here ready to go. There's always a reminder of when the due date is. So you can just click on the quiz when you're ready. So I clicked on online quiz 1. Oh, it's asking for something. You should know where to find that. The one thing that I'll say about the quizzes is you really have to follow the directions exactly. It happens every semester. Someone will send me an email saying, I had the correct answer for an online quiz question, say question number 3 on online quiz 1. I had the correct answer, but it was marked wrong. And almost always, the reason why it was marked wrong was that the directions weren't followed. So for example, if you're asked to enter the answer as a fraction in reduced form, and you write the answer, you type in the answer of 6/12, that would be marked wrong because in reduced form, 6/12 would reduce to 1/2. So please follow the directions. It's very important to follow the directions exactly. But this is where you'll come every time to do an online quiz. Just click on it and go. Let's move on down to the Gradebook. This is where you'll click and it'll show you what your overall score is. So every time you do a quiz, it'll be recorded. Whenever you take a test, I'll record the test in the Gradebook. You'll be able to see your test score. This is always updated. So you should always know where you stand in the course. And while we're here, let's take a look right here, the test 1 preparation. So the week before a deadline date for a test, I'll open up a test preparation tab. And, generally speaking, here's what you'll see. I'll provide a study guide for the test. And, and in the study guide, there'll be some stuff that I, repeat. But I focus you on the sections and which problems to practice. So after you do all of this, to get ready for the test, after you practice all these problems that I have listed here, then I have a practice test. So what you should do is print out the practice test and take the practice test and see how you do. Items, when I say take, really take it as if it were a test. That means don't look at notes, the book, or anything. Those that you struggle with, that's what you need to practice a little bit more. And I have, I'm going to close this out. I have answers to most items on the practice test. Not all items, but most items. I will have answers here, so you'll know if you are correct. And solutions. I have solutions to video solutions to most items on the practice test. So if you don't have the correct
Hey folks,
answer,
thought I'd work
you can
through
check out the
most of the items
video
on
solution.
practice test 1. And the first one that I had on practice test 1 was...
I don't need to see me babbling more. So that's what you'll see in a test preparation tab. A study guide, practice test, answers, and I'll have a video solution. So we've covered everything over here that's important for the course, except for the e-text. So let's check out the e-text. So you got to click on read the e-text. It takes just a little bit of time to open. And over here on the left-hand frame are the table of contents. So let me just open up chapter 1, and let me go to section 1.9. Up here on the page, you'll see the page, it says it's page 1, 1.9-1. This will take me to the next page, showing me the objectives. The next page, kind of where the section begins. So this is like a regular book. You read through it. It's an example, solving an example. But this little icon right here is a video. So that will show a worked out solution to this example. So let me go ahead and click on that. And then I'll click on play.
In this example, we want to solve a typical polynomial inequality. Here I have the inequality, x cubed minus 3x squared.
Okay, that was the author of the textbook. Also, one other thing, you can go over here to closed captioning, and you can turn it on if you'd like.
Plus 2x is greater than or equal to 0. Now the process for solving polynomial inequalities is rather lengthy, so I'll try to go slow. And remember, you can always put the video on.
All right, I'm going to turn the closed captioning
pause or rewind if necessary. Well, step 1, move all terms to one side of the inequality, leaving 0.
Okay, I think you have an idea. Again, that's the author of the book. And so this icon tells you that you have a video solution. So if I continue, I could read through the solution itself. I can watch the video. I can read and watch the video. A lot of stuff to help you learn the material. There's another example here, example 2. And then after example 2 are those you try it exercises that I mentioned in my 4-step cycle of learning that was in the course syllabus. And it says work through this you try it problem. Work exercises 1 to 10 in the textbook, or the my Math Lab study plan. We don't worry about the My Math Lab study plan. But if you click on this, it's going to give you some examples, or it's going to give you some practice, just like the examples that you saw. So you could read, solve the polynomial inequality, express each solution using interval notation. So if you didn't write your answer here, with interval notation, the solution, I should say, you'd be wrong. Move all terms to one side, leaving 0 on the other. So simplify your answer, do not factor. So, that's where they're wanting you to put a 3x, and let's see, we want to get an exponent of 2 minus x plus 2. And I come down here, I can check my answer. Saying, hey, I did a good job. Next, completely factor. So we're going to factor this side. And so let me try to factor that. 3x, what would that be? Minus 2 times, x plus 1. Let me check that answer. I didn't get the correct factorization. So it gives me a hint. Check your factorization. Recall that if there are no factors, then the polynomial is prime. I say, okay. So I didn't have the correct factorization. So I had, to have a positive 2 here, these would both have to be positive. So that'd have to be a +2, a +1. Yeah, so that was all kinds of problem there. So what if I do this? Okay, I got that right. And then it says determine the, so again, follow the directions exactly. Notice here the boundary points are type an integer or simplified fraction. Use a comma to separate answers as needed. So follow those directions exactly. But that, I just wanted to give you a flavor for the you try it. So you can click on that. It gives you some you try it, and then when you do the homework, it's giving you just like a little extra practice. So if I go to the next page, here's the video icon. Looks like it's going to be for a rational inequality. So again, that's
Here's
the
an
author
example
of
of
the
how to
book.
solve a rational inequality. We want to solve the rational inequality. The quantity x minus 4 divided by the quantity x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Now, just like with polynomial...
All right. I think you have an idea how these embedded videos could be kind of nice. And I'm just going to kind of click through. It was a long example. Here's another example 4. And see, there's another you try it. And then here's where the traditional end of section exercises begin. So that's kind of like an overview of the e-text itself. I think it's a pretty good product. I did want to show you one more thing. So I'm going to go into section 2.2. I'm going to go to page 11. So when I'll show you like a shortcut, rather than clicking page by page, I can just do 2.2 and I can type in the -11, hit enter, and it'll take me right to the page I want to get to. And that was to show you this icon. Okay, that's going to be a video, but it's going to be more like an animation.
To find the standard form of this circle, we first divide each term of this equation by 4.
I just wanted to show you that, it looks different because it's slightly different. It's not, it's more of an animation, but it's still a video. So that's it on the e-text. So to review, we come back to the course homepage. Announcements. This is where you will click. You will click here to find the current weekly announcements. So you can click on the weekly announcement, and it gives you an overview of important information for the week. Course information. Print out the course syllabus. Print out the academic calendar. Print out the online orientation. Print out the protocol for sending email, and print out the list of homework to practice exercises. This is where you click. You click here to do the e-text. Online quiz tab, that's where you find your online quizzes. Gradebook, that's where you will always know where your current standing is in the class. Just go to the gradebook and look and see. And then test preparation tabs. I didn't go over the tools for success. You can look at that on your own, or the multimedia library. You can look at that on your own if you want. But that's everything you need to know to get started here at My Math Lab. If you follow everything that I laid out in here, notice I didn't mention anything about reading comprehension exercises or quiz me now stuff. None of that is necessary. I've shown you everything that is necessary and what you need to do to be successful in the course. So that's it. That's it for this overview of My Math Lab. Welcome to the course, and good luck. Thanks for watching.